This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
A reason to live, but so much more to die. Will fate decide who has to go? We both know pain, but we deal it too. Who's dealt more? Well, I leave that up to you. I circle round, but you double back every time I turn you. There are facts, well, I guess
program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true. How are you doing? I hope you have enjoyed the last 23 hours or so. If you were hanging out during hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show or the Rated R Safety Show, or however the hell you want to take a look at this, because it's a combination of so many things. Anyways, today is Thursday, January the 19th of 2023, day 19th. Yes, it's that simple, of the year, and only 346 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then, of course, we are hanging with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big, mastering the art of putting music on shuffle. Radio Big.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on over there and over here and over there and everywhere. So how have you been? How are things? How are things in your neck of the woods? Did you take some advice and listen to the OSHA episode that we were talking about? If you actually interact with anything related to safety and health, it was a recommendation for you to take a listen to the latest episode of the Jay Allen Show, podcast version that came out on Tuesday with all of the OSHA updates that were going on for 2023, or at least the OSHA updates that we received at that point of what was going on. So there you go, some stuff there for you to take a listen to with Jim Frederick, Assistant Secretary to OSHA. So there you go. Can help you out. Take a listen to what the hell is going on over there and see what we can do to move and groove and all of that fun stuff. I think that those things will be important for you as we are hanging and banging. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. So OSHA updates over there. So let's talk about this. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk about safety in the news and safety, do all the fun stuff that takes place on there and around the clock, and around everything else that you can get to in regards of trying to set everything up for you. The reason we talk about news and safety, that way you have something that's topical to talk about, opposed to just jumping directly into the safety topic. You know, some people don't love that. So we want to make sure that you have an array of things to talk about. So that's what's going on. So let's talk right away about what the hell is trending in El Worldo, because I think that that's going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look around of what was going on. A tight economy continues to battle big tech, and El Chapo wants to serve his prison sentence in Mexico. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. The federal government reaches a debt ceiling today, and former President Donald Trump wants to get back onto Facebook. Didn't you just get offered to go back onto Twitter? Now you want to go back on Facebook? What happened to Truth Social? We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. What else? Taylor Swift tops Billboard's Hot 100, and Britney Spears takes a trip down memory lane. And there you go. We're not going to talk about the Kardashians. Somebody put that on there. I don't even know how I didn't catch that. But yeah, the Kardashians. We really want to talk about that? I don't think we're going to talk about that. But there you go. That's some stuff that is going on inside of the world of the news. So we do bring in some professional broadcasters, and they broadcast away telling you what the hell's going on, because I think that that's fun for that to happen. The other side of the equation, if you want to interact with the show, it is a simple process. If you look at the crawler, if you're on the video stream, it does say that you just have to go to callinradio.com. That will get you into the message boards and all that kind of fun stuff and get you moving and grooving. So that's an option to do. So that you can think about that, give that some consideration, not a problem there. That will put you into the video, audio, or text. I will tell you, if you do it on the social media streams, I almost always feels like a jerk afterwards that I didn't respond. It's not my intent. I'm just not paying attention to them as I am doing this out. So that's what's going on. So that's the equation that happens there. So outside of that, that's what happens. We talk about what's going on, then we come back, do a main story or some level of that, and go from there. Yeah, we've only done this about 699 times as of today. Yeah, 699 times. Thank you for sitting through this and going through this with me, because it's definitely been a journey from a rant show to this thing that you have formed and the monstrosity that this thing has become. So there you go. That's stuff going on there. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is time for me and ours to tell you about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden is taking more time to announce any potential re-election plans. NBC News reports he won't launch a 2024 campaign before delivering his State of the Union address, which is scheduled for February 7th. The outlet notes the new special counsel probe related to Biden's handling of classified documents won't impact his plans. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has announced her intention to step down.
I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February.
During a press briefing, Ardern said she felt leading a country is the most privileged job anyone can have, but also highly challenging. New Zealand will hold a general election in October. Ardern became the youngest female head of state in the world upon election in 2017 at just 37 years old. New evidence in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students has been revealed after search warrants were unsealed. A Washington state judge ordered redacted versions of the documents to be released on Wednesday. Washington State University PhD student Brian Koberger was arrested last month in connection with the killings. In the search warrants, investigators described evidence such as blood, DNA, and shoes. The documents also mention what are described as data compilations of information about the victims. The FDA is defending the decades-old approval of the abortion pill. Brian Shook reports.
The agency urged a federal judge to reject an attempt by abortion opponents to withdraw federal approval for the drug used in medical abortions. The FDA said granting the request would be unprecedented and would harm public interest. The lawsuit was filed in November by the conservative legal group Alliance Defending Freedom. It argues the FDA unlawfully fast-tracked approval of the drug. I'm Brian Shook.
In Florida, Congressman Greg Steube is recovering after falling off a roof on his property Wednesday. The 44-year-old was taken to a Sarasota hospital for treatment. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. In a political bombshell, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has announced that she will stand down next month ahead of an October general election. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating another accident between 2 planes at JFK Airport in New York. Thousands of nurses in England are in the middle of a 2-day strike as a pay dispute with the government rumbles on. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety
Vice
Show.
President Harris will deliver remarks in Florida on Sunday to mark the 50th anniversary of the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade ruling. Lisa Taylor has more.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the vice president will push for national legislation to protect reproductive rights. The vice president has taken a leading role in the administration's push for abortion access. The Supreme Court reversed Roe last year, essentially undoing the constitutional right to an abortion. I'm Lisa Taylor.
Former President Trump is looking to return to Facebook. NBC News reports that Trump's campaign sent a letter to Meta Tuesday petitioning the company to unblock his account. The campaign argued the ban on Trump's account has dramatically distorted and inhibited the public discourse. Meta told NBC News it will announce a decision in the coming weeks. A source also told NBC that Trump's campaign advisors have workshopped ideas for his first tweet since having his Twitter account reinstated. Trump's social media moves came as he begins to mount his third bid for the White House. A disabled veteran is accusing freshman Republican Congressman George Santos of fraud over a fundraising effort for his sick dog. Michael Kastner reports.
Santos has sparked controversy after he made false claims about his background, including his heritage, his education, and his professional career. Richard Osthoff says in 2016, Santos, who was using the name Anthony DeVolder, promised him he could raise money for surgery to remove a tumor from Osthoff's service dog. Osthoff says the online fundraiser Santos set up for him raised $3,000, but then he disappeared with the money. Osthoff's dog died the following year. I'm Michael Kastner.
And Lisa Marie Presley is scheduled to be laid to rest this weekend. A memorial service for the late singer and only daughter of Elvis Presley will be held at the iconic Graceland Mansion in Memphis, Tennessee on Sunday. The general public is invited to attend the memorial, which will also be live streamed online. Lisa Marie died earlier this month at the age of 54 after suffering an apparent cardiac arrest. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah, it does sound like I do tend to bring some information that you might have not cared about. That's exactly what's going on. This is the Rated R Safety Show. It is currently 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this terrific Thursday. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So let's get into the shit list right away about the things that are going on inside of the world, because the world is a vampire. Oh, no, I'm probably not supposed to be singing that song. So let's get into it, and let's be realistic. We know that was not singing. We don't even know what the hell just happened there. Anyway, so let's talk about the recession that isn't continued to hammer big tech, with Microsoft announcing Wednesday that it will lay off, are you ready for this, 10,000 workers, representing about 5% of their total staff headcount around the world. Worth noting, Microsoft has hired about 75,000 people in the last 3 years as revenue exploded. So the layoffs do appear to be a healthy adjustment to respond to the economic realities that are taking place. But wait, Microsoft generated $17.6 billion in profit in the third quarter for 2022. The move is to shore up balance sheets and ahead of the economic uncertainty. So I don't know. What do you think about it? It makes it kind of interesting because listen to this. I mean, you have to think about it. There was a pretty big tech company a few weeks ago, Salesforce, laid off about some of the people that were there. Also, you had Amazon going in through the sprint at the same time of doing some layoff. Now Microsoft. I mean, I don't know, but when you start seeing some things, you start doubting some things, and some things are happening, well, it might be some time to start going, what the hell's going on, you know? Because you can't sit back and say there's not an economic turn, and these are only balance sheets related issues, because it seems like there's a little bit more to that.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, meanwhile at Party City, the parent company of Party City filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Tuesday. The company leadership says they expect to have restructuring done by the middle of the year. Party City was pretty useless in the early months of the pandemic when gathering were made illegal, and its varied supplies and cheap party supplies hit supply chains snags as the global economy slowly rebounded. Meanwhile, at Twitter, you can own a part of Twitter, and you don't even have to buy the blue subscription. or partner with Elon Musk. A bunch of fancy decor and other assets were put up for auction online on Wednesday, including things like high-end lounge chairs and espresso machines. Worth remembering, pre-Elon, Twitter offered employees crazy benefits like wine on tap, game tables, the best of all, getting paid to not really having to do anything, as demonstrated as a viral TikTok video last year. The auction closed yesterday afternoon, but you can still pursue what was sold off of there from yesterday. Listen, I don't know. Some people don't love some of the workplaces that give you some of the strange benefits that are out there. And listen, I don't know if you've taken a look at what some of the stuff that was being done at Alphabet, meaning, the parent company Google, some of the things that are being done at Pixar and all that kind of stuff. People want to have environments to feel creative. Is that justifiable? I don't know. I don't know what kind of a thing that you need to do. I'll put it to you this way. Inside of this joint, we have more TVs, we have game systems, and we have all kinds of oddities on things to do to become a little bit more creative. So can I slam it? I don't know. But here's the thing. The amount of work that sometimes has to go into some of the things that are being done for work, you need sometimes some creative paths. Like, listen to this. We have somebody who sits around and watches television just to tell us what the hell's going on TV. And yeah, we have to pay the person. That's the way that it works. That's what happens sometimes. Anyways, let's continue talking. A lawyer for El Chapo was petitioned the Mexican government to extradite him to a prison in his home country, a request that Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador says he's considering. El Chapo's lawyer says that he has no access to sunlight or visitors. So hold on. He escaped prison twice before. He is currently at an ADX Florence, the Supermax prison in Colorado. His fellow inmates included Al-Qaeda operatives, Boston Marathon bomber, and domestic terrorist, and a Russian spy. So let's see. The go figure that the announcement of the petition comes on the anniversary of El Chapo's first escape from prison back in 2001. I don't know. Kind of makes you think some things there about what the hell is going on there. Think about that for a moment. So it's just some stuff. I don't know. Do you think that you get the request, you get to move, you get to do all the fun stuff, or do you go, didn't say the magic word? So let's continue talking. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station are retrofitting the docked SpaceX Dragon capsule with a fit seat in case it needs to be used to evacuate those on board. The update comes after Russia MS-22 capsule was damaged in a debris strike last month. Officials on the ground aren't taking any risk if it needs to be used in the event of an emergency. The update to the Dragon capsule is a short-term safety measure, though. The Ruskies are launching an unnamed replacement capsule in February that can accommodate at least 3 astronauts. While the Dragon capsule has so far launched no more than 4 astronauts into space, it can accommodate 7 people if need be. I want to see some of those reconfigurations on how that works, because it's going to be pretty interesting. And do you just have chairs sitting around in space that you can use for that? I would like to know. I want to have a better understanding.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, state troopers in Nebraska spent 20 minutes on high-speed chase on Monday, being able to stop a car to find out that a 13-year-old girl was behind the wheel and an 11-year-old boy was riding shotgun. The chase started after the police initiated a traffic stop when the car was spotted driving well under the high speed limit. That's when the driver gunned it and reached speeds to over 100 miles an hour. Only details about the renegade kids is that they're from Colorado and that the police found weed and a gun in the passenger seat. Hold on. So wouldn't that be the 11-year-old kid with the weed? I don't know. This kind of sounds like it. So there you go. So, taking a look at what the charts had to do today, take a listen to this. The Canadian Centre Substance Use of Addiction recently updated its guidance on alcohol consumption from 2 drinks per day to 2 drinks per week for women and 6 drinks per week for men. People's Magazine reported that the changes on Wednesday, which basically state that any amount of alcohol is bad for your health. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, there's all kinds of safety pros out there. I don't know how that's going to sit with you, with me saying that. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't drink for the most part. And when I say the most part, I will tell you, I will take a shot or two of tequila or some añejo tequila, and I'm talking maybe once a year or maybe once every 2 years. And once, it depends if I'm on Mexico. So maybe we can just say once upon a time in Mexico might be the easiest way to do that. Now, in some terrible and sad news, I get to share this with you. Professional wrestler Jay Briscoe has died. He passed away in a fatal car accident in Delaware on Tuesday. According to a tweet from All Elite Wrestling founder Tony Khan, Briscoe wrestled alongside his brother Mark as a tag team duo, the Briscoe brothers. The pair were inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame back in 2022. He was at 38 at the time of his passing. His daughters appear to have been in the car with him, with one actually having some kind of spinal damage, it looks like, and seems like that they will actually have to have surgery to see if they'll be able to walk again. So terrible news coming out of that in that particular regards. Never know what to say once you hear about that. His brother is survived by him, his wife, and his 3 children. So don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going inside of that sports arena. The National Hockey League is responding after the Philadelphia Flyers players boycotted the warm-ups during the team's LGBTQ night. Ivan Provanov said that he refused to wear the team's LGBTQ plus jersey or use a stick in rainbow tape because of his religious beliefs.
I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. That's all I'm going to say.
In the statement on Wednesday, the NHL said that players that are free to decide which initiatives to support the Flyers released a statement which reaffirmed the organization's support for the LGBTQ plus community. The 26-year-old Russian-born player identified his religion as Russian Orthodox. Flyers head coach John, I'm going to butcher his last name, Tortorella, says that the stands with the LGBTQ community, but supported Provolov's decision. The NHL Philadelphia Flyers head coach John says that he supports his player Ivan.
He's being true to himself and to his religion. This has to do with his belief in his religion. And it's one thing I respect about Provi. He's always true to himself.
So there you go. Some of that coming out of Philadelphia right there. You know, that's probably, I have to tell you, I don't know if you know this, and I think I've discussed it or a couple of times here. The majority of our listeners in the U.S. come out of Philadelphia. I would have never thought that. I've never been to Philadelphia, and I've heard you guys have one hell of a Philly cheesesteak, and I would hope so because it's with Philadelphia, and you have to put the whiz on it, you know, the cheese whiz stuff, but you can only do that when you're in Philadelphia. So, yeah, at some point in my lifetime, I need to make it up there. We need to hang out and do some stuff. We can talk about that later. Anyways, people in the Commonwealth of Virginia are at odds when it comes to license plate honoring Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Trey Thomas has some more information.
The Virginia Mercury reports one Democratic delegate is trying to get rid of the tags through a new bill. Data shows there are currently well over 1,500 vehicles with the plates. Officials in Richmond recently removed the last city-owned Robert E. Lee statue. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for the information right there as we are talking. Anyways, freshman Republican Congressman George Santos claims that the claims and his websites are still for that his mother survived the 9/11 attacks in the office of the World Trade Center. NBC's Ryan Noble reports that doesn't seem to be the case.
Has uncovered documents, immigration records that showed on a visa application in 2003 that George Santos' mother said that she hadn't been in the country since 1999.
Immigration records show that his mother, Fatima Caruso de Volder, entered the U.S. in 2003 after living in Rio de Janeiro. She had been in the U.S. from the 1980s until 1999, and then she died in 2016. This dude has so many holes in his story, allegedly. Of course, allegedly. Has so many holes in his stories about what the hell's going on. It kind of makes you think about all kinds of stuff of what the hell's going on inside of the world of politics. Anyways, take a listen to this. A dangerous winter storm is headed to the Great Lakes. Trey Thomas reports.
Forecast to head from the Central Plains to the Great Lakes region today, bringing heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Snowfall from Nebraska to Michigan, along with high wind gusts, will make travel dangerous with near zero visibility at times. I'm Trey Thomas.
That doesn't sound like a travel day to me. Near zero visibility doesn't sound like something I'm willing to take a risk at. I mean, think about that for a moment. Why would you want to do anything if that is the visibility that is at stake? Take a listen to this. DeAndre Kraft is charged with 2 counts of murder for allegedly killing a 58-year-old Tony Vaughns and Freddie Lusk on June the 23rd. Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Windstorm says the killings were a result of a small and petty disagreement and adds that their shootings don't make sense.
Tenacious. We're going to follow through. We're not forgetting these homicide victims, and that's what I want the families to realize, that we're going to follow through on every single one.
Windstorm says the shooting happened in Martin Luther King Jr. Street near Eastern Avenue on Southeast. And the area has more gunfire than any part of the rest of the city. Grand Rapids, Michigan's police chief remains baffled by the double murder from last year.
And the general public, it won't ever make sense. I believe it was some sort of disagreement, which should have been easily dealt with through conflict resolution, but instead it ended up in gunfire.
When you use that term, conflict resolution, it means so many different things to so many different people. So don't know what to tell you, because if you talk to some people, they might turn around and say, well, we did use conflict resolution. So there you go. Anyway, history is being made in Maryland. Wes Moore is now the state's first African-American governor. Take a listen.
In our collective history, made by people who over the past 2 centuries, regardless of their origin story to this state, fought and built a state and a country that works for everybody.
The Democrat is replacing Republican Larry Hogan. Meantime, Aruna Miller is the state's first Asian American lieutenant governor. So some interesting times going on right there as we are starting to see changes as the world continues to turn. Makes it some fun times on the things that are going on inside of the planet. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so I think it is time to do that thing that we do right about now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
We sit back and at times take a look at what is going on inside of the world, and we listen and we look and we move and we groove and we go, where does change start taking place? Where do things start happening? How do we get to the circumstances that we get to? How do we make change happen the way that we want? And I have a simple question for you. I have a simple thing to talk about today. It's a pretty simple thing when you start listening to this. At your workplace, as you're looking for environments to change, things to happen, and things to go on, who are you turning to? Are you turning to the leadership inside of your organization? Are you turning to a book? Are you turning to the people? Now, here's where things sometimes get very confusing for some. And listen, I was confused by this for a very long period of time. The people that are the leaders inside of your organization are put as leaders, and I'm talking from a management perspective. They're put there because they are assisting in making your job better, meaning that it will have an impact of what your organization is doing. Also, it will have an impact to the bottom line. Most of the time, they are there for the bottom line purposes. Now, don't get me wrong, because as we talk about this, remember that we do our work to make money. Yes, there might be some other things to add on to it, but at the end of the day, you work to make money. I work to make money, so let's not lie about that. But, and here's a big but, not that you have a big but, just saying the word big but, because big but seems like it's be important to talk about this. Have you ever realized the impact that the people inside of the workplace have, meaning your team members. Because think about this. If you do not agree with the leadership inside of your workplace, you will normally talk about that with your team members. If you don't agree with what's going on inside of the workplace, the team members are the ones that start having that discussion. The great part about it is that as the team members get together, they can cause change inside of the organization. Now, listen, I'm not saying go out there and let's start a revolt because, hey, you don't like the way that somebody wore a tie today or something along those lines. I'm talking about basic practices on the things that are happening. And here's the weird thing, is that I have seen organizations years and years and years and years over change the way that they do things by people grouping together. I'm not saying let's form a union because I think that there might be some confusion there, and not that there's anything good or bad against the union. But I am talking about from the perspective is that if you are seeing something, let's talk in particular about the world of safety that's going on inside of your organization. Mention this and see how the changes come about if you guys group together. If you ladies group together. If y'all group together. You know, using some of those other words there. But I say this from the standpoint that changes occur inside of conversations that are going on inside of your organization. If those conversations don't happen, changes will never occur. Listen, I have always been a big advocate that someone needs to cheerlead some of the things that are going on, or yell lead, depending on how you want to look at it, that are going on inside of your workplace. And sometimes you need a mouthpiece for someone to go forward and tell the upper management on the things that need to change. This is why when you start hearing the term learning teams and soak time and really learning about what is going on from your team members / employees on how important it is. And sometimes we tend to forget the importance of having those conversations. We forget the importance of getting together and having discussions of what we do and do not like. I am a big proponent of safety committees going on inside of the organization. Yes, because it gives you the opportunity to talk about the things that you like and things that you don't like. It's not going to be perfect. I would love to one day be able to build a perfect system, but at that same point, I would tell you that we wouldn't be living in a reality that we're in right now, because there is no such thing as a perfect system. Now, you can write a perfect plan, and people will go, what? Yes, you can write a perfect plan. Doesn't mean that it's going to work. The plan can be written perfectly. Just doesn't mean that it's going to come to fruition. That's the problem. People sometimes think that their plan is perfect, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. I know, some oddity on words there, if you really think about it. Anyways, that is something to think about today.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
I do fast food. She do first had to make me bleed. The quenches thirst story. Now I know. This is how it ends. Let's just not pretend that I've always walked this path alone. You will never see the likes of me again.
Okay, this is the Rated R Safety Show, Hour 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Doing the deed here, doing the deed. This is Monsters Dancing by Atlas Gray. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
Monsters dancing.
You can give it a little downloady-ody if you want to. We would like to thank Atlas Gray for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show.
Suit and tie, another target on his mind, he did not.
Always some fun times as we get to do some of the things that we get to do around here. So, there you go. Let's get into the move and the groove of things that are going on out there inside of the world, because there's still a lot of stuff to talk about. Very little time to do so don't worry about that. Anyways, before I get too far away from this, let me tell you real quick about our event that's taking place in the week of March the 6th. And that's our Safety Differently workshop that's taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico, hosted by Todd Conklin, Martha Acosta, Mark Yeston, Bob Edwards, and yours truly here. You can find out more information by going to safetyfm.io or scanning, the little QR code that's on the screener. That will get you moving and grooving that general direction, and we can have you all set up for the event if you're inclined to come out and hang out with us. So there you go, safetyfm.io. The event taking place March the 6th through the 9th. So there you go. Love to see you there. No, really, I really would. Love to see you there. And yes, we will be doing some level of broadcasting from there. The only thing that I've been thinking about here is that this show, we do it at 5 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. So that would be the time that would be going on live. And I am not just too sure if too many people will be super excited about doing that at that kind of hour. I mean, I just kind of don't sleep, so I'm cool with it. But some people might be like, what the hell's going on with my life that I would be at some event at that time? And I get it. It makes sense to me. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. So there you go, some information right there for us to hang out, do the things that we do. Always importante to keep that in mind. 988lifeline.org. So let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news. Let's talk about some natural remedies. Simply getting out and enjoying nature can lessen the need. Yes, lessen the need for some medications. According to a new study, researchers in Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare found that visiting nature 3 to 4 times a week was associated with 36% lower odds of requiring blood pressure pills, 33% odds of using mental health medication, and 26% lower odds of using asthma medication. The study interviewed about 6,000 people in 3 of the largest cities in Finland about their use of green and blue spaces within the kilometers of their homes. The researchers also looked into the impact of being able to view green or blue spaces from home and found that they had no impact on use of medications, leading the team to summarize that just seeing nature didn't really move the needle, but experiencing it did. Physical activity is the key factor in health benefits of enjoying nature. The problem is that I feel like I'm never out in nature. I'm either behind the lawnmower or shoveling snow, but just not here. On the other hand, if you're going to Disney this summer, I'd suggest that you still bring along some heart meds. Yeah, because, they have some natural environments there, if you kind of think about it in a weird kind of way. Do they? Yeah, they do. Think about it for a moment. Oh, yeah.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's bring some John Smalls in here real quick for him to tell you what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, January 19th, 2023. Equity markets went wild Wednesday as investors cheered the economic data and then realized its true meaning. The surprise decline in producer-level inflation is good news for those concerned about inflation, but the retail sales figure suggests the damage is already done to the economy. Retail sales are up year over year, but fell more than 1% monthly as higher prices and rising interest rates cut into consumer spending. The takeaway from the data is that the S&P 500 pricing power may be headed out the window as input costs costs fall and demand for finished goods declines. The data that investors truly need to watch is the consensus figures for S&P 500 earnings. The consensus figures are in decline for the first half of 2023 and are a dead weight for the market to bear. Now that index price action has reconfirmed resistance at the 4,000 level and the top of a downward sloping channel, it looks like January will end the market flat to down, which is not a good sign for what the rest of the year will bring. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for that. Take a listen to this real quick. The Dow lost about 613 points to close at 33,296. The S&P lost about 62 points to close at 3,928, while the NASDAQ lost about 138 points to close at 10,957. West Texas Intermediate closed at $79 a barrel. Brent crude just shy of 85. The national average price of a gallon of gas increased at $3.35 on Wednesday. Bitcoin tumbled after a takeoff, trading just over $20,700. There was more than 2,750 flights delayed into, within, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and such as 490 cancellations. The Mega Million jackpot has been won back-to-back drawings on Tuesday night. The ticket for $20 million jackpot was drawn out of New York. The jackpot will once again reset to $20 million, or a $10.6 million cash payout for Friday night's drawing. So there you go. If you want to play the game, you still have the availability on doing so. A lot of stuff going on right there. That is for sure. Anyways, with that being said, let's do some motivation. I think we should do that in a minute or so.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by George. Catherine Cook said, "If you're not making mistakes, then you're not making decisions." I love that. We've all made mistakes. That's okay. Just make sure you learn from your mistakes. A few years ago, the company my wife and I own, we had to take a different company to court. In the beginning, the owner of the other company called me and said that he was digging up dirt on us, and we didn't want this stuff to get out. I told him, go ahead and feel free to share anything you want to. He seemed a little shocked by that. Now, you need to understand, it's not because I'm perfect. I am far from perfect. But every mistake I've ever made in my life, I've confessed it and I've learned from it. I believe in the old adage, if you mess up, fess up. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. There has been a debate whether or not dietary cholesterol relates to serum cholesterol, LDL or HDL, and if eating saturated fats increases bad cholesterol. An important thing to understand is that anything that interferes with our ability to produce cholesterol is detrimental to our health, for the simple reason that cholesterol builds the membrane for every cell in our body and gives it its fluidity so that it can be accessed by nutrients. Cholesterol is also the backbone to the hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. As recognized by the American Heart Association, dietary cholesterol does not impact the serum cholesterol. However, the observation that consuming saturated fats raises cholesterol is generally correct, and it is important to consult with your physician regarding dietary changes. For more, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
Show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
I hope that means the show is too stupid and not me. Anyways, so there you go. A lot of stuff still going on as we are hanging out with it being 53 minutes past this part of the hour. Take a listen to this real quick. A Pennsylvania woman has been arrested for allegedly shooting her elderly parents in the head and then dismembering their bodies with a chainsaw. Trey Thomas has more.
Attorney in Montgomery County says 49-year-old Verity Beck was charged Wednesday with double homicide after police found her parents in different stages of dismemberment. Police found the bodies Tuesday night after Beck's brother called authorities to conduct a wellness check on their parents. They say Verity Beck lived with them and claim she put their body parts in trash bags before putting them in two separate garbage cans. I'm Trey Thomas.
I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, what do you say? Like, at what point do you get so pissed off at your parents that it's like, okay, yeah, this seems like something logical to do? I don't know anymore. I'm very confused sometimes.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, take a listen to this one. President Biden is taking more time to announce any potential re-election plans. Take a listen to this.
News reports he won't launch a 2024 campaign before delivering his State of the Union address, which is scheduled for February 7th. The outlet notes the new special counsel probe related to Biden's handling of classified documents won't impact his plans. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Very interesting to hear that. So we'll see what exactly happens from that particular portion. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, the Senate committee will hold a hearing later this month to investigate the lack of competition in the ticketing industry. Hearing that the schedule for January the 24th comes 2 months after Ticketmaster chaotic rollout of the pre-sale tickets for Taylor Swift's Eras tour. Yeah. Many fans are getting, which prevented many fans from getting tickets. Ticketmaster has only accused price fixing and antitrust violations. Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar said that hearing the focus on how they consolidate ticketing industry harms both consumers and its artists. She said that consumers have faced high fees and long waits and website failures for too long. The estimated Ticketmaster controls 70% of the market for ticketing and live events. What do you think will happen there? It'll be some interesting times to hear what is going on. Take a listen to this real quick as we are still talking. The White House is condemning the appointment of extreme MAGA Republican prominent committees in the House. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia and Paul Gosar of Arizona were placed on oversight committees after being stripped of the committee seats in the last Congress for making controversial comments, including violent rhetoric towards other lawmakers.
Of these key committees, it appears that House Republicans have handed over the keys to the most extreme MAGA members of the Republican caucus.
Okay, White House press secretary accused Republican leadership of handling the keys oversight to extremists. She emphasized, however, that President Biden stands ready to work in good faith with to pass bipartisan legislation. House Republicans are expected to aggressively use their oversight powers to investigate the president. White House press secretary calls Republican ultra-MAGA for restricting abortion rights.
MAGA Republican officials continue to push at all levels of government for extreme legislation rolling back women's fundamental rights.
Press secretary says that President Biden wants to work with them in a bipartisan way.
You know, the American people spoke very loudly and very clearly. They want to see us work in a bipartisan way. So the president wants to do that. He's looking to do that.
Okay, so there you go. Looking back at some things that happened back on this date, back in 2013, during an interview with Oprah, Lance Armstrong admits to doping in all Tour de France victories. Following the admission, he was stripped of all 7 Tour de France titles. Taking a look around at some birthdays today, Paul Rodriguez, 68. Logan Lehman turns 31. Sean Johnson, 31. And Robert E. Lee. He turns nothing. Wrong person. Dolly Parton turns 77. Let's go from there. That's what we got right over there on that equation. And then let's see if you need a joke for today. I got one of those for you. It goes like this: work smarter, not harder. If you're looking for something for the water cooler, try this question. About 35% of us will go through this life without ever having one of these. What are they? Wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth. That's the answer. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we cannot do what we do around here. If you need a random joke, by the way, just once I wanted to prompt for a username and password to say, close enough. I forgot to say that one. I thought that one was important. That was important. And what fashion trends are very happy that we said good riddance? Think about those. Anyways, there you go. I'll be going over to Radio Big at the top of the hour if you want to come and hang out and take a listen to what the hell's going on over there. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Deserve your dream. Think about it. It's so important. There you go. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.